Bwana Kabogo is the kind of man, who has mood swings. He has been known in the past to wake up one morning and say very outrageous things, that leaves the ears of people ringing. Indeed, most keen political analysts believe this is the reason why he lost his re-election bid to remain Kiambu governor in 2017. Because he said things during these mood swings that the voters took to heart, and never forgave him, up to the time the elections were held. And they voted, against Kabogo with what he said in mind. His inability to be very cautious when he speaks, and to leave emotion out of it, cost him the Kiambu governorship and made it very easy for Ferdinand Waititu to walk in and get the seat very easily from him, without even breaking into a sweat. In one incident, Kabogo was landing with his helicopter somewhere in Kiambu, and his constituents, most of them women, were waiting to receive him. Now, as a chopper is landing, it normally displaces a lot of wind, and as a result of all this commotion the rotors of the helicopter were causing, the skirts of some of his constituents were blown a wee bit too high. And so when Bwana Kabogo emerged from his chopper, he started complaining, about the quality of the underwear of his constituents. He talked a long time about the dirty, tattered underwear he had seen. I kid you not. And then he went on to pledge money, that they would go out and buy brand new, presentable underwear. And by this, talking to women. And women are the vast majority of voters, especially in Kiambu, Kiambu County. And not only that, they're extremely influential, mess up with the women in Kiambu County, and I believe this is the same in every part of Kenya. Mess up with the women voters, and you've got a very serious political problem. Most probably, you will lose, any election that comes up after that. Now, Kabogo is known to be the kind of man who will not resist a good joke. And maybe that was his intention here. Because trust me, women are generally clean. And especially in Kiambu, where I've resided for long periods of time, it is highly unlikely, that what Bwana Kabogo was saying about the underwear of his constituents was true. And in any case, underwear is a very personal issue. I doubt whether it falls under the jurisdiction of a governor, however powerful that governor thinks they are. Anyway, what happened in this case is that the women were initially very embarrassed. They could not believe what they were hearing. And then when the embarrassment had subsided, they became very angry. There are those who are very sure, that this is the incident that ended Bwana Kabogo's career, political career. He was careless with his words. What came out was a lot of arrogance on the part of Bwana Kabogo. And of course, the rest is history. He tried everything. He hired a PR company to try and fix his image in Kiambu. Even appeared for a presser, with his wife, who had never been seen in public before. He appeared with her in public, even kissed her in public, in a desperate attempt to repair his image. What the women on the ground were saying was that Bwana Kabogo must think that there's nothing he cannot fix with his money, that he can say anything and get away with it, because at the end of the day, when the elections come, all he needs to do is to distribute money to get the votes. And the women were saying, we will show him. And they did. During the electioneering period, they took his money and voted for a Tito, almost to a woman. Anyway, my apologies for getting carried away with that underwear story. My point is, has a long history, of saying things that leave people baffled. And so, for those who know him well, his latest statement cautioning the president to be very careful about reneging on his promise to DP Ruto is no exception. Maybe it's his latest careless outburst. And there have been many in the past. The second clue is that there's a high possibility that Bwana Kabogo was playing to the gallery. Why? Because of where he made these remarks. He made these remarks during a radio station interview with a station known as Emo FM. Now this is a Kalenjin vernacular radio station, incidentally owned by MediaMax. You all know who is behind MediaMax. This is a media house associated with the first family, the Kenyatta family. And so Bwana Kabogo must have known he was speaking to the Kalenjin nation. And of course, speaking to the Kalenjin nation, the last thing you want to do is to praise the handshake. That is a possibility, although it is also a remote possibility. And I'll tell you why. You see, before you get interviewed by a radio station, they have a pretty good idea of what you want to say. And in most instances, these interviews with the radio station are instigated by the handler of the person who is interviewed. In other words, because a radio station is a business, in other words, there is no way Emo FM would have invited Bwana Kabogo, knowing that he was going to praise the handshake. Which means that Bwana Kabogo's handlers must have persuaded and convinced the radio station to host Bwana Kabogo, which implies a possible political motive by Bwana Kabogo. And that political motive or political agenda could be, I'm not saying it is, could be something called blackmail. It is common in politics that if you want something from one side of the political divide and they're not playing ball and you hold sway, you can easily send them a friendly warning that it is very possible for you to cross over to the other side. And you give them an example by giving a radio interview and talking contrary to the direction they're headed, contrary to their core views. And you see, the whole idea here is that after such an interview, then the side of the political divide that had earlier refused to play ball with what you want them to do will take a second look at what you wanted done for yourself. Now, Bwana Kabogo may not have a large political following. He doesn't have radical supporters in such large numbers that anybody would be threatened politically. However, he has money. He's wealthy. And number two, he hails from Central Province. And obviously the last thing you want, if you're on the handshake side, is for the popularity of the deputy president to get any foothold in the Central Province, so that Central Province voters are divided. That is something that would definitely frustrate the objectives of the handshake team. And to make matters worse, Bwana Kabogo has always been very close to the president. And therefore, Bwana Kabogo crossing over to the DP Ruto camp would be a big win for the deputy president. Because he can now tell people, even those close to the president, support him. Either that, or Bwana Kabogo has visited a fortune teller he trusts, who has given him a glimpse into the future. And that glimpse into the future has very suddenly caused him to jump ship, change camps. I don't know And for all intents and purposes, this remains a deep mystery, even with the insights I've given you. And it is something that is worth following very closely, keeping a very close eye on going forward to see how it develops. Because when we see how it develops, we can easily come to a conclusion that maybe Bwana Kabogo was just in a bad mood. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.